The Young and the Restless. Next 2 weeks, dangerous obsessions, spilled secrets, and life-changing decisions. For years, Nikki Newman has survived battles that would have broken most people. She's faced addiction, family betrayals, business wars, and countless personal tragedies. Every time life knocked her down, she found a way to stand back up. But this time, the challenge in front of her may be unlike anything she has ever faced. What begins as a series of troubling symptoms soon turns into a frightening medical reality. Nikki has been experiencing headaches, moments of blurred vision, and other unusual issues that she initially tries to dismiss. Like many people, she hopes the symptoms are temporary and nothing serious. Unfortunately, the truth proves far more alarming. After undergoing medical evaluations, Nikki receives shocking news from her doctor. The tests reveal a mass located near her optic nerve. While doctors continue assessing the situation, the discovery immediately raises serious concerns. The condition could potentially threaten her eyesight and dramatically alter her future. The moment Nikki hears the diagnosis, her world seems to stop. Suddenly, all the things she once worried about feel insignificant compared to the possibility of losing her vision. Questions race through her mind. What will happen if the condition worsens? What if treatment doesn't work? How will her family react? Despite her fear, Nikki does what she has done many times before. She tries to carry the burden alone. Instead of immediately telling everyone around her, Nikki becomes determined to keep the situation private. She doesn't want panic. She doesn't want sympathy. Most importantly, she doesn't want Victor Newman to see her vulnerable. For Nikki, protecting her loved ones often means hiding her own pain. But keeping a secret this big is nearly impossible. As the days pass, the physical symptoms become harder to control. Headaches strike unexpectedly. Her vision becomes increasingly unreliable. There are moments when she struggles to maintain her normal routine, and each episode reminds her that the situation is becoming more serious. Meanwhile, those closest to Nikki begin noticing subtle changes. Nick Newman quickly senses that something isn't right. He knows his mother well enough to recognize when she's hiding something. Even though Nikki tries to reassure everyone that she's fine, Nick can't shake the feeling that she's facing a major problem. As concern grows, Nick finds himself dealing with his own emotional struggle. Watching someone you love suffer can create a feeling of helplessness, and Nick begins feeling the weight of that pressure. The uncertainty surrounding Nikki's health takes a toll on him emotionally. He wants answers. He wants a solution. Most of all, he wants his mother to be okay. Unfortunately, stress has always been a dangerous trigger for Nick. The emotional burden threatens to push him toward unhealthy coping mechanisms. Rather than facing the pain directly, he may become tempted to escape it. Friends and family members may not realize how deeply Nikki's condition is affecting him until warning signs begin appearing. While Nick struggles privately, Nikki continues trying to maintain control of an increasingly impossible situation. The person she fears telling the most is Victor. Their relationship has survived countless storms over the years. No matter how many times they have separated or disagreed, there has always been a powerful bond connecting them. Nikki knows Victor loves her deeply, and that's exactly why she hesitates to reveal the truth. She doesn't want to see the fear in his eyes. She doesn't want him worrying about her every moment of every day. But fate may have other plans. As Nikki's symptoms become harder to hide, the risk of exposure grows dramatically. One unexpected episode could reveal everything. A moment of dizziness. A sudden headache. A problem with her vision. Any of these situations could instantly expose the secret she's working so hard to protect. Victor, meanwhile, begins noticing that something feels off. At first, he may not understand exactly what's happening. However, Victor is not the kind of man who ignores his instincts. The more he observes Nikki, the more concerned he becomes. Small details start adding up. Her behavior changes. Her reactions seem different. Her attempts to avoid certain conversations only increase his suspicion. Soon, Victor realizes that Nikki is hiding something significant. And once Victor starts searching for answers, it's only a matter of time before he discovers the truth. When that moment finally arrives, it could become one of the most emotional scenes of the summer. The realization that Nikki is facing a potentially life-changing medical crisis will hit Victor harder than anyone expects. Behind his powerful reputation and tough exterior is a man who has always loved Nikki in his own complicated way. For once, business battles, family feuds, and corporate power struggles won't matter. The only thing that will matter is Nikki. As this emotional storyline continues, major decisions are approaching. Doctors will discuss treatment possibilities. Difficult choices must be made. Risks and consequences will need to be carefully considered. And while Nikki tries to remain strong, the road ahead may become even more challenging than anyone realizes. One thing is certain, the Newman family is about to face a crisis that could change everything. Jack's desperate mission, Diane's nightmare, and Patty's dangerous obsession. Welcome back to our Young and the Restless recap. While Nikki Newman is facing a life-changing medical crisis, another terrifying story is unfolding elsewhere in Genoa City. This one centers on Diane Abbott, who remains trapped in a frightening situation that grows more dangerous with every passing day. For Jack Abbott, every hour matters. He refuses to sit back and wait while Diane remains under the control of a man he doesn't trust. The deeper Jack digs into the mystery surrounding Diane's disappearance and confinement, the more convinced he becomes that something is seriously wrong. The problem is that getting answers proves nearly impossible. The doctor connected to Diane's situation remains guarded and unwilling to share useful information. Every question seems to lead to another dead end. Every attempt to uncover the truth only creates more frustration. But Jack isn't the type of person who gives up when someone he loves is in danger. Instead, he becomes even more determined. As Jack continues searching for answers, Kyle Abbott joins the effort. Although father and son haven't always agreed on every issue, they both share the same goal now, bringing Diane home safely. Kyle begins watching events carefully and paying close attention to every detail. He understands that even the smallest clue could become the key to finding Diane. Eventually, a breakthrough arrives. A valuable piece of information gives Jack and Kyle a possible path forward. For the first time, they feel like they might finally be getting closer to discovering exactly where Diane is being kept. But finding the truth and rescuing Diane are two very different challenges. The situation becomes even more complicated when they realize they may have to take significant risks to succeed. Jack starts considering bold actions that he normally wouldn't entertain. He knows failure could have serious consequences, but he also understands that doing nothing could be even worse. As the pressure mounts, Jack's protective instincts take over. Nothing matters more than bringing Diane home. Meanwhile, Diane faces her own terrifying reality. She remains trapped in an environment where uncertainty dominates every moment. She doesn't know how long her ordeal will last. She doesn't know whether rescue is coming. Most importantly, she doesn't know what her captors are truly capable of. Despite her fear, Diane refuses to completely lose hope. She knows Jack will never stop looking for her. That belief becomes one of the few things helping her stay strong during an incredibly difficult situation. However, Diane's biggest threat may not be the one everyone initially expects. A much more unpredictable danger is slowly building in the background. That danger is Patty Williams. Patty's emotional instability has created problems for countless people over the years. Her intense feelings, unpredictable behavior, and tendency to become obsessed have often led to disastrous consequences. Now those dangerous tendencies are beginning to surface once again. Patty remains fixated on Jack in ways that make everyone around her uneasy. What starts as affection quickly develops into something far more troubling. The deeper Patty falls into her fantasy, the harder it becomes for her to separate reality from what she desperately wants to believe. Unfortunately, obsession rarely ends peacefully. As Patty's emotional attachment grows stronger, her reactions become increasingly difficult to predict. Any perceived rejection could trigger a powerful response. Any threat to her fantasy could become a serious problem. And Diane represents exactly that kind of threat. If Patty begins viewing Diane as an obstacle standing between herself and Jack, the situation could quickly spiral out of control. The possibility of confrontation becomes more likely with each passing day. Jack recognizes the danger but may underestimate just how far Patty is willing to go. Like many people dealing with emotionally unstable individuals, he hopes the situation can be managed before it explodes. That hope may prove overly optimistic. As rescue plans move forward, multiple storylines begin colliding. Jack wants Diane back. Kyle wants his mother safe. Diane wants freedom. Patty wants Jack. When so many conflicting goals collide, chaos often follows. The tension continues building toward what could become one of the most explosive showdowns of the summer. Imagine Diane finally gaining her freedom only to come face to face with the very person whose obsession helped create so much of the danger surrounding her. Imagine Patty realizing that her dream of a future with Jack is slipping away. Imagine Jack caught between protecting the woman he loves and managing someone whose emotional state is becoming increasingly unstable. Those ingredients create a recipe for disaster. By the time the dust settles, relationships could be permanently altered. Trust could be shattered. Long-standing rivalries could intensify. Most importantly, lives could be placed at risk. As viewers look ahead, one major question remains unanswered. Can Jack rescue Diane before events spiral completely out of control? Or will Patty's growing obsession transform an already dangerous situation into something far worse? The answers may arrive sooner than anyone expects. One thing is certain, the closer Jack gets to saving Diane, the more volatile Patty becomes. And when obsession, desperation, and fear collide, the results are rarely predictable. The next chapter of this storyline promises emotional confrontations, shocking twists, and potentially life-changing consequences for everyone involved. And for Jack Abbott, the mission is far from over. Kane's power play, Billy's obsession, and Sally's growing fears. As multiple crises continue to shake Genoa City, another battle is quietly intensifying behind the scenes. This one isn't centered on romance or family drama. Instead, it's about power, control, legacy, and the dangerous obsession that can consume even the smartest people. At the center of this conflict stands Kane Ashby. For months, Kane has worked tirelessly to strengthen his position and expand his influence. He's determined to prove that he belongs among Genoa City's biggest players. Every move he makes is calculated. Every decision serves a larger purpose. But success often creates enemies. And Kane's growing authority is making several powerful people extremely uncomfortable. Among them is Billy Abbott. At first, Billy tried convincing himself that he could let certain battles go. He told himself that moving forward with Sally and focusing on his future was more important than chasing old grudges. Unfortunately, old habits die hard. The more Billy watches Kane's influence grow, the more difficult it becomes for him to ignore what's happening. Soon, curiosity turns into concern. Concern turns into frustration. And frustration slowly evolves into obsession. Once that happens, Billy begins dedicating more and more of his attention to Chancellor and the power struggle surrounding it. For Billy, the issue becomes deeply personal. He starts viewing Kane's success as something that needs to be challenged. Every victory Kane achieves feels like a setback for Billy. Every strategic move becomes another reason to stay involved. The problem is that Billy doesn't always recognize when determination crosses the line into obsession. Others notice it long before he does. One of those people is Sally Spectra. Sally has worked hard to build a stable future with Billy. Their relationship has survived obstacles, misunderstandings, and emotional setbacks. Recently, she finally started believing that they were moving toward a happier chapter. Now she's beginning to worry again. At first, the warning signs seem minor. Billy spends extra time discussing business matters. He becomes distracted during important conversations. His attention starts drifting away from personal priorities and back toward corporate battles. Sally tries giving him the benefit of the doubt. After all, everyone gets stressed occasionally. Everyone becomes distracted sometimes. But as the days pass, a troubling pattern begins emerging. Billy talks less about their future. He talks less about family. He talks less about the life they're trying to build together. Instead, his focus keeps returning to Chancellor.
again and again.
The shift doesn't go unnoticed.
Sally starts wondering whether Billy is repeating mistakes from his past.
She's seen this version of him before. The version that becomes consumed by one goal. The version that convinces himself everything else can wait until the battle is won.
The version that often leaves destruction behind.
As her concerns grow, Sally faces a difficult question.
Should she confront Billy directly? Or should she hope he eventually recognizes the problem on his own? Meanwhile, Kane isn't standing still.
He knows powerful forces are aligning against him. He understands that both Billy and Victor Newman are paying close attention to his moves.
That reality forces Kane to become even more strategic. Every decision matters.
Every alliance becomes important. Every weakness must remain hidden. Fortunately for Kane, he isn't facing the storm alone. Lily Winters continues growing closer to him.
The connection between them becomes increasingly difficult to ignore.
Their bond strengthens through shared challenges, mutual trust, and common goals. As outside pressure intensifies, Kane and Lily find themselves relying on each other more than ever. That growing partnership may prove essential in the battles ahead.
Because enemies are gathering from multiple directions.
Victor Newman remains deeply skeptical of Kane's intentions. Victor rarely trusts anyone completely, especially when power and business interests are involved.
From Victor's perspective, caution is necessary. He believes every major player has an agenda.
And he intends to uncover Kane's before it's too late. This creates a dangerous situation.
On one side stands Kane, determined to protect everything he's built.
On the other side stand powerful opponents who believe he shouldn't be in control. The collision seems inevitable.
As tensions rise, Genoa City's corporate landscape begins shifting. Alliances become uncertain. Friendships face pressure. Long-standing rivalries intensify. Everyone involved knows that one major move could change everything. Yet perhaps the most emotional aspect of the story remains Sally's growing fear.
Unlike the business players focused on strategy and power, Sally is worried about something much more personal. She's worried about losing Billy.
Not physically. Emotionally.
She's afraid that his obsession with winning could once again consume him completely. She's afraid that the future they plan together could become another casualty of his relentless pursuit of victory. Most of all, she's afraid that history is repeating itself.
As the summer drama continues building, Billy faces a critical choice. Will he prioritize the people who matter most? Or will he allow another obsession to take control of his life?
The answer could determine the future of his relationship, his family, and his place in Genoa City.
Because sometimes the biggest threat isn't an enemy standing across the battlefield. Sometimes the biggest threat is the obsession growing inside your own mind. And for Billy Abbott, that realization may arrive when it's already too late.
A shocking attraction, Claire's heartbreak, and Victor's growing anger. Just when Genoa City seems overwhelmed by medical emergencies, corporate wars, and dangerous secrets, another storyline begins turning heads for an entirely different reason. This one centers on unexpected attraction, emotional fallout, and a relationship that nobody saw coming. At the center of the controversy are Victoria Newman and Kyle Abbott. For a while, both have been navigating complicated personal lives. They've each experienced heartbreak, disappointment, and the challenge of rebuilding after failed relationships. Neither expected to find comfort in the other. Yet sometimes the connections that create the biggest shockwaves are the ones nobody plans for. What begins as a series of conversations gradually evolves into something deeper. Victoria and Kyle discover that they understand each other in ways neither expected. They share frustrations, ambitions, and experiences that create an unusual sense of familiarity. At first, the growing bond seems harmless. They're simply talking. They're simply spending time together. They're simply enjoying one another's company. But emotional connections rarely stay simple for long. The more time they spend together, the stronger the chemistry becomes. Eventually, both begin realizing that their feelings may be moving beyond friendship. And that's where the real trouble begins. Because this isn't just any potential romance. There is one major complication that makes the situation incredibly uncomfortable.
Claire Newman. Not long ago, Claire and Kyle were building a future together. Although their romantic relationship ultimately ended, the history between them cannot simply be erased.
Now Kyle appears to be developing feelings for Claire's mother. The situation creates a level of awkwardness that is impossible to ignore. Even people who normally avoid judging others find themselves struggling to understand the circumstances.
How would Claire react if the rumors prove true? How would she feel watching someone she once loved become involved with her own mother? Those questions begin circulating throughout Genoa City.
While Claire attempts to focus on her own future, the possibility of a Victoria-Kyle romance threatens to reopen emotional wounds she thought were finally healing.
The reality is complicated.
Claire may no longer be in a relationship with Kyle.
She may genuinely want everyone involved to be happy. But emotions are rarely that simple. Even when people move on, certain situations still hurt.
Certain images still sting.
Certain developments still feel impossible to process.
As the connection between Victoria and Kyle grows stronger, Claire may find herself facing emotions she never expected to revisit.
Meanwhile, another person is preparing to react.
And his response could be explosive.
Victor Newman.
Victor has never hidden his opinions when it comes to the people involved in his family's lives.
He is fiercely protective of his children.
He is even more protective when he believes someone may be making a mistake. If Victor discovers that Victoria and Kyle are moving toward a serious relationship, his reaction could be swift and severe. From Victor's perspective, the situation raises numerous concerns.
He questions Kyle's motives. He questions the timing. He questions whether the relationship can survive the pressure it will inevitably face.
Most importantly, he questions whether the emotional consequences are worth the risk.
Victor isn't known for staying silent when he disapproves. In fact, history suggests the exact opposite. When Victor believes a situation threatens his family, he often takes action. Sometimes subtle action. Sometimes dramatic action. Either way, people usually feel the impact. That reality places Victoria and Kyle in a difficult position. If they continue exploring their feelings, they'll likely face criticism from multiple directions. Friends may question their judgment. Family members may express concern. Victor may actively oppose the relationship.
Yet despite all those obstacles, the attraction continues growing.
And that may be the biggest problem of all. Because the stronger their feelings become, the harder it becomes to walk away. Elsewhere in Genoa City, other relationships face challenges of their own.
Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson continue working to rebuild both their professional partnership and their personal connection. They understand that trust takes time. Every small victory matters. Every setback carries consequences. For now, they're focused on moving forward together. But even stable relationships can encounter unexpected tests. At the same time, Mariah Copeland struggles to regain a sense of normalcy after a difficult period in her life.
Freedom doesn't automatically erase emotional scars. Recovery remains a process.
And those closest to her continue worrying about what comes next.
Meanwhile, tensions involving Devon and Abby create additional complications.
Misunderstandings, frustrations, and emotional distance threaten to place strain on their marriage.
As always in Genoa City, happiness rarely lasts without challenges. Still, the storyline drawing the most attention remains the one involving Victoria and Kyle. Will they follow their hearts despite the controversy? Will Claire be able to accept the situation if it becomes reality? And how far will Victor go to stop a relationship he may never approve of? Those questions continue hanging over everyone involved. One thing is certain. If Victoria and Kyle choose to pursue a future together, the fallout will be impossible to avoid.
Because in Genoa City, love is rarely simple. And when family, history, and emotion become tangled together, the consequences can change lives forever. Nate's life-changing opportunity, Jill's return, and a summer full of surprises.
As Genoa City continues to deal with medical crises, shocking attractions, and escalating corporate battles, another group of characters is preparing for major turning points that could reshape their futures. For some, opportunity is about to arrive unexpectedly. For others, difficult choices may change the course of their lives forever. And for everyone involved, the summer ahead promises plenty of drama. Let's begin with Nate Hastings. Over the past several years, Nate has worked hard to reinvent himself. His journey has taken him far from the medical career that once defined his identity. Business opportunities, personal relationships, and unexpected challenges gradually pushed him onto a different path. Yet despite his success in other areas, there has always been one lingering question. Has Nate truly left medicine behind? That question becomes increasingly important when a new opportunity enters his life. A respected medical professional approaches Nate with an intriguing proposal. The opportunity isn't something he expected. Nor is it something he can easily dismiss. For the first time in a long while, Nate begins imagining what a return to medicine might look like. The possibility excites him. But it also creates uncertainty. Returning to medicine would mean revisiting a chapter of his life filled with both pride and regret. It would require sacrifices. It would require adjustments. Most importantly, it would require Nate to decide what kind of future he truly wants. As he weighs his options, those closest to him begin offering opinions. Some believe medicine remains his true calling. Others worry that revisiting the past could create new complications. Ultimately, the decision belongs to Nate alone. And whatever choice he makes could have lasting consequences. Meanwhile, another familiar face is preparing to make a memorable return. Jill Abbott. Whenever Jill arrives in Genoa City, excitement usually follows. Her history with the town runs deep. Her relationships remain complicated. And her opinions are rarely kept to herself. This latest visit proves no exception. Jill quickly finds herself reconnecting with family members and becoming involved in ongoing developments. Her presence creates fresh conversations, unexpected reactions, and a few uncomfortable moments. As always, Jill has a way of making an impact wherever she goes. For Billy Abbott, her return couldn't come at a more important time. Billy continues wrestling with his growing obsession over Chancellor and the battles surrounding it. Those closest to him remain concerned. His focus continues drifting toward conflict rather than personal happiness. Jill recognizes the warning signs. She knows Billy better than most people. And she understands how easily his determination can become self-destructive. Whether Billy listens to her advice remains another question entirely. Elsewhere, Victor Newman finds himself juggling multiple concerns at once. Nikki's health remains his biggest priority. The possibility of losing the woman he loves has forced Victor to re-evaluate what truly matters. For perhaps the first time in a long while, business concerns take a back seat to family. Victor wants answers. Victor wants hope. Most importantly, Victor wants Nikki to survive whatever challenges lie ahead. But even while focusing on Nikki, Victor cannot completely ignore the chaos unfolding around him. Corporate rivalries continue growing. New alliances continue forming. Potential betrayals remain hidden beneath the surface. Victor understands that trouble is never far away in Genoa City. Meanwhile, another storyline continues gaining momentum. Matt Clark remains an unpredictable figure whose true intentions remain difficult to read. Some characters believe he's trustworthy. Others remain deeply suspicious. Questions continue surrounding his actions, his loyalties, and his future plans. As secrets slowly emerge, those questions may finally receive answers. But answers often create even bigger problems. At the same time, Nick Newman faces a difficult personal battle. The emotional strain caused by Nikki's condition continues affecting him. The pressure feels overwhelming. Fear, uncertainty, and helplessness combine to create a dangerous emotional storm. His loved ones hope he can remain strong. But temptation has a way of appearing when people are at their weakest. As summer unfolds, Nick's choices could become increasingly important. Will he find healthy ways to cope? Or will emotional pain push him toward risky decisions? Only time will tell. Looking at the bigger picture, one thing becomes clear. The months ahead will transform multiple lives. Relationships will be tested. Families will face heartbreaking challenges. Business empires may rise or fall. Unexpected romances could emerge.
Old rivalries may become more dangerous than ever.
And some secrets will inevitably explode into the open. For viewers, that means one thing. An unforgettable summer is just getting started.
Every storyline appears connected to something bigger. Every decision carries consequences. Every character faces choices that could alter their future. Whether it's Nikki's fight for her health, Billy's obsession with power, Victoria's complicated attraction, Nate's career crossroads, or Victor's determination to protect the people he loves, the stakes have never felt higher.
And if there's one thing longtime fans know about Genoa City, it's this.
Just when you think you've seen the biggest surprise of the season, another shock is waiting around the corner.
The drama is only beginning.